HOARE Last updated 5 o'clock, May 11, 2018. Why should childcare and housework fall mainly to women? File photo. Opinion. New Zealand women have made great strides in the last 125 years, gaining the vote, entering universities, and going into the workforce in larger numbers, but there's one really big change that still needs to be made. And God help us if it takes another 125 years. In most New Zealand homes today, as in 1893, the woman is still expected to do most of the housework, childcare and all the other millions of little tasks that keep households running, noticing when you're almost out of toilet paper, knowing when a birthday present needs to be sorted, etc. Women may have gained access to all kinds of new opportunities in the past century, but home life hasn't really changed to accommodate them. Most who go to work come home and do what American sociologist Arlie Hochschild called the second shift. In a landmark 1989 book, she calculated that women do about an extra month of work every year, compared to their husbands. According to the Ministry for Women, about 63% of women's work is unpaid, compared to 35% of men's work. Why? Why should this be? Read more. *. The household chores holding women back. *. Why are women expected to care about a clean house? *. Manifesto. The dirt on who's really cleaning up. Why should childcare and housework fall mainly to women? There is no good reason, just lots of silly, sexist ones, like that women are better at it, or enjoy it more, or that, if they're going to be at home caring for a baby, they may as well do everything else, too. Research has shown that even when both partners work full-time, or when the wife out-earns the husband, it's still women who are doing most of the household chores. Today's men are actually doing more housework and childcare than ever before. In the early 70s in Australia, for instance, men did 105 minutes of domestic work a day. By the late 90s, that was 147 minutes. Women went from doing roughly 3 times as much to doing twice as much as men. Cleaning, cooking, laundry and childcare are still largely seen as women's work. Based on these last few decades of change, we should be more than halfway through an 80-year process of things becoming equal. By the late 2020s, if current trends continue, women will be doing half of the domestic work. A few factors are obstinately standing in the way. For one thing, the extra housework men have been doing mainly consists of shopping for things, fixing things, and taking care of stuff outdoors. Cleaning, cooking, laundry and childcare, the unavoidable, routine tasks, are still largely seen as women's work. If women are now spending less time on this stuff, it's because they're now at a paid job, or because technology has made these chores quicker to do. Public policies can also keep things inflexible. In socially conservative countries like Italy, France and Germany, childcare is provided in a way that basically assumes and maintains traditional responsibilities, whereas in Nordic countries where there's good public service childcare and elder care, there's more gender equality in the workforce and at home. By the early 2000s, Swedish women were doing around 67% of the routine housework, while Italian women were still doing 89%. So where do we start? In some ways, change does seem inevitable. Many of today's fathers were raised by stay-at-home moms who did everything around the house. Since this is what was role-modeled for them, it's what they might naturally expect to see in their own households. But the number of working mothers keeps rising, and research has shown that men raised by working mothers are more likely to do household chores and help care for their families. One way or another, our kids will get the message that everyone has a job to do, both at work and at home. I hope that, 125 years from now, employers will offer gender-blind parenting leave, so anyone can take time to help raise their families without being stigmatized or devalued for it. The current pay gap between male and female parents is 17%. I hope employers begin to recognize the important role families play in the background of their employees' lives and recognize the value of the skills and insights gained from parenting rather than seeing children as a limiting factor or a liability. Looking around, I see lots of young men who are keen to be more involved in raising their children than their dads were. They want to be hands-on, and good on them. That's where a genuine parent-child relationship is formed, in my view, at the business end of the change table, at the edge of the bathtub, in the middle of the night, when you'd rather be asleep. I suspect many of my father's generation would have loved to have had more time as caregivers at home. It often wasn't an option. But I hope that, as a society, we'll learn how to give men the time and space to care for their homes and their kids, and that they'll know the satisfaction of that kind of nurturing, when it's freely given. And I hope we'll learn how to give more women the time and space to chill out and do nothing. * Nominations for the 2018 Women of Influence Awards are open. Nominate an influential woman you know at stuff.co.nz/women of influence, stuff.